Hi everyone and welcome to another of my videos. Your pay as crew member, employee on river cruise ships in EU. Okay, right. About the video. So I'm not gonna what it's not all about. So I'm not gonna say about how much you're getting, how big is the salary for the separate positions, because I discussed them in other videos where I describe the position, the duties, the salary, and about the job as a receptionist, about the job as a bartender, about the job of the cruise director on river cruise ships. So that's where I mentioned the salary. This one is about the pay itself, about the contracts. It's about the bank account, which ones you're going to be using to get the money, frequency of pay, how often it's paid, currency of pay, in which currency it's paid, and also about the tips, the whole thing about how it's paid, when it's paid, and of course the currency it's paid in. And of course there's some money involved in travel and medical expenses as well. I'll mention that as well, by all means. And let's begin with this. So contracts, so there can be contracts from different countries. It could be a German, Maltese because of the taxes, German because the company is actually registered there, Romanian, that could happen as well. Romania is in EU. The same as the Switzerland, the currency in the countries are different. Romania has Louvre, and the Switzerland has Swiss francs. But you're still gonna the contracts can come from there, and even the Romanian contract, because the company is actually German, is Austrian, but the employees have Romanian contracts because the employment comes sort of from a sub company from it. So it can be from anywhere there is in EU. If you wanna have your taxes returned back at home, if you want working, my colleague was doing that very efficiently. I didn't pay that much attention because I wasn't much into it. I've been traveling so many years, so the contracts can come from any of these countries itself. You're paying taxes there and everything, but it's interesting as well as you can see. So they can be different. So you have insurance always, and it comes from that country as well, but it's valid in all the European Union. Let's say Switzerland contract. As much as I understand, I worked actually. There was a winter season in Davos. I worked in summer season in St. Moritz. The brutto salary is like 4,000. That's before taxes. So, and you get after the apartment and mandatory health insurance, you get still in your bank account 2,200, 2,400. So, but in Switzerland there is no minimum wage. So even if you have the Swiss contract, which a lot of people say is great, it's great. My last contract was in Switzerland. My brutto was 1,600. So it's not even close to 4,000. And this salary was 1,450 euro, and that was all in euro. And it's signed and stamped as it is a contract in Switzerland. But even that, the I don't know, if you're saving for a pension, it's not going to be very big because it's 1,600. So they don't really have the minimum wage in Switzerland, which is only one canton out of 6, which is cantons, which is divided in, is actually putting up like 4,500 or 5,000 something minimum. But of course, the river cruise companies, they kind of go around it, you know. Even the minimum wage in Germany and Austria is actually higher than the one that you actually paid on the cruise ship. Unfortunately, that's what it is. Whatever contract you get, that's where it is, and that's where the insurance is, and these are the contracts you're going to be getting, really. Bank account. So most of the companies are actually going to pay in your own bank account back at home. There's no problems, and it could be like on the cruise ships and the big ones. It's always paid on a different separate bank account, which is like a debit card. You can't really do much. You can buy some stuff online. You can't you can transfer the money, but that's about all you can do. On the river cruise ship, that's not a common thing, but it does happen, and these companies are actually private. They're not banks. Like on big cruise ships, there was a big bank, but this was overtaken about the private company. And the private company that works kind of in Europe, it was not bank, but a terrible thing happened, and the bank accounts were frozen, and the company in between, because they were getting banks are always insured, so you're getting some money back up to 50,000 or whatever there is. So they kind of managed to get the money back, and the bank accounts are reinstated. But most commonly, it wasn't great, these things that happen, but it's going to be your own bank account mainly, so you're going to get the money there. Frequency of pay. Yeah, well, all the salaries are always paid monthly, and every single month you get money, and that's how it's paid, and it's always monthly. It's not like on the big ships you can get every 2 weeks, or you're going to pay twice a month. Frequency of pay for all the companies I was, which is like a handful, about 5 I was working, I was always getting paid monthly. So it always kicks in your bank account, and that's where your salary is coming in, and its frequency is every one of them was always a monthly one. So currency of pay. Currency of pay, so you always get euro. So okay, well, you are a bit puzzled. Germany, Malta, Romania, or Swiss contract, they're still going to pay you in euro, and even the contract from Switzerland, even for Romania, I was still getting where the currency is not euro, I was still getting paid in euro. So how they do the conversion and everything and all this, that's up to to the company itself, but it's always going to be euro. And doesn't really matter, it's German, Maltese, Romanian, or Swiss contract. So all the 5 companies I was in, just about 5, I would say that it's always a pay in euro, so it doesn't really change. Doesn't matter that Romania has leu and not a euro, it's still going to be paid in euro, the same as in the Swiss, because as mentioned, I have a Swiss contract, I had a couple of them. It's still not Swiss francs, but it's still going to be euro. So that's definitely 100%, 99.9% is euro. Right, the tips. So the river cruise ships have tips, and they are actually shared between they are shared between the crew. Everybody gets the same amount. There might be another tip box for the cruise director. That depends, because the cruise directors sometimes are from different companies, or they actually allowed within a company for the cruise director to have their own tip box, which they get. But sometimes it's actually divided between all, including the cruise directors as well. So the hotel director, the restaurant manager, the waiter, everybody's going to get the same pay, and it's always paid in a cash. And well, yeah, as long as it cruises, so frequency of pay. So the cruise can be 1 week, it can be 5 or 7 days, or 6 days sometimes, or even shorter, like 4 days. So whenever the cruise ends, there's this box. They have the tip envelopes, they put them in a box, and then the money is counted on turnaround day, when the people are leaving, the guests are leaving, and guests are coming on. That's when the money is counted, and that's when it's divided, and that's what is usually given out. Well, sometimes if the people in charge are not that on the top of their duties, it can be paid out the day after, but it's usually on the same day. That's a great motivation. And the currency of pay, yeah, well, it really depends what it can be. I was working with Australian guests on the river cruise in Europe, and I was still paid in tips every 2 weeks, and it was fixed ones, prepaid ones. So, and I was getting euro. There was English cruises, I was getting pound sterling. Or whatever the money they have, it doesn't really mean the people are all from Germany, or all from Australia, or from England, or from Germany, and the currencies can be different as well. But it's most commonly like in euro, and yeah, as long as the cruises, that's when it's paid out. Some are not prepaid, they go in a box and tip envelope, and that's divided, and you always have some money on you, which is good, and you don't really need to rely on the salary which people are saving, the employees, and living, trying just to manage themselves out on weekly or bi-weekly basis, on the tips. And they can be cruises like 1 week or 2 week longs, and then there's some cruises that are 1 month long. So basically there's a cruise, it goes on the Rhine, it goes on the Danube, it goes all the way to the Black Sea. So these people are staying actually 1 month's cruise, so they actually do the full cruise about all the rivers. and the other people are just coming for one part of the cruise, like only Rhine or Danube cruise, and they're only there a week, and the other guests maybe there for 3 or 4 weeks. So they would pay the tips at the end of it. So these are the tips, and this is the frequency, and of course, let's move forward. Okay, the travel and medical expenses. Right, so the travel expense usually comes in a form that if you get a first contract, you need to pay your own flight tickets, or you get a train ticket, or you get a bus ticket, could be a bus, and they usually pay it at the end of the year as extra money out, and it goes with your last pay, and it's the same as unpaid holidays. If you can't take them out, you get them at the end of the year as well. The same as travel expenses. They do not like to pay for the taxis, and it could also happen that you're actually leaving from one ship to another ship because you need it on another ship. These travel expenses as well are paid at the end of the contract. So, and this is just really at sort of a beginning the first flight tickets. Because after that, the company is paying for your travel on a ship back to the ship, and even if you start the contract in the middle of the season, because you're they sometimes pay your ticket out as well straight away up forward, because it's not the beginning of the season. You're actually helping out, and you're just filling in for somebody. Medical expenses, yeah. So you are insured. The things can happen, and you never know, and you need to go to hospital in one port, need to check the things up and everything. And there's a form, you get it from the reception usually, and you go to the medical, they examine you, they say how much it's paid, you need to fill that out, and then it's sent back to the head office, and they speak with the insurance, and you get money back. But not always you get something. For some sort of things like reading glasses, there was up to €400 money back for whatever they were, if you need new prescription glasses. But my colleague got some problem with a tooth infection, and it was sort of a surgical thing, and in Germany she paid like €600, but she only get like €350 or €400 back. So, and that's something you get straight away back from after it's processed. So medical expense, you get the money back for that as well. Right. Well, this is pretty much. I wanted to cover the whole thing: the contract, bank accounts, the frequency of pay, the currency, and everything. Help is actually give you an idea how it works, and of course, tune in for how much salary, what are the duties for different positions on river cruises, on cruise ships, on a yacht, and the other videos, of course. And yeah, I hope this helps and just give you main idea of how it works. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.